I always forget to adjust this on mornings I'm up here. It's just a little ritual that I just sometimes don't quite remember. Good morning. My name is Will Garrison. My pronouns are he and him, and I am your pulpit host this morning. This morning it's my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of this congregation to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. We want to take a moment, as we always do, to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of Native American tribes. And whether you've joined us this morning physically here in our sanctuary or virtually online, we want to say how glad we are that you have taken this time to join us in sacred space together. Our congregation is served by our minister, the Reverend Jamie Simon, who is available for pastoral care or to answer any questions you might have about Unitarian Universalism. She can be reached at minister@uuch.org. Also, we have the pleasure this morning of having our guest speaker, Rachel Rogers, who will be amazing as always. And wish her luck. She is in her final week of the semester. I don't know if anyone's been in school lately, but that's a rough time. And she decided to be brave, and this is her one of 4 Sundays. This is the first of 4 Sundays in a row she'll be preaching, so give her a fist bump afterward and a little bit of encouragement. If you're a newcomer this morning, please sign our guest book in the foyer to receive our email newsletter and to keep up with all the goings and comings that our church offers. And also, if you wouldn't mind, take a moment to pull out your little electronic connection to the world and put it into silent mode, and we can have a moment to be present here together. But please don't silence yourself or the people around you. We always welcome joyful and sometimes not so joyful noises of our little ones during our services. If you have a joy, a sorrow, or an important milestone that you would like shared during our circle of candles or included in the pastoral prayer, there are white cards in the pew in front of you. Please fill those out and pass those during the offering basket during the service. For community news, events, and so forth, our email newsletter is your best source of information about what's going on at the church, also our Facebook page. This week we have several additional announcements. First off, for every December for the past 11 years, UUCH has partnered with the Alabama Hispanic Association to provide gifts and a dinner for low-income Hispanic families. However, this year's going to be a little different. Due to the Trump administration's consistent harassment of ICE, of immigrant families, the AHA has requested that instead of having a dinner where everybody would be gathered together and perhaps vulnerable, we are distributing gifts and groceries to the families in need on December 13th. We need your help to make this a success. We need financial donations to be able to buy the gift cards for 15 teenagers who are worthy of a Christmas gift of their choosing. Our goal is to provide a $200 gift card to each teenager, which means we need a total raise of $3,000. To date, we only have about $760. You can donate to the Alabama Hispanic Association via the QR code in your order of service if you'd like to do things electronically, or put checks in the offering basket with AHA in the memo line. Second, we need your help generating groceries for the 7 families. The AHA has provided a list of what those needed groceries are, and we need your help to provide them. So in the table immediately out in the fellowship hall has a box for each of the families along with a list of what they would like, and you can sign your initials next to things that you're committing to get and give for those families. If you have any questions, please contact Gail Williams or Brad Korb. And thank you for everything you do supporting our local immigrant communities. One other fun announcement. Most of the announcements are in your order of service, but I will add one that Jamie sent me personally. I'm really excited about this one, sorry. Next Sunday, November 23rd, we are going to celebrate gratitude and communion with a new ritual called a recipe communion. This is going to be a new thing we haven't tried before, but it's going to be very special. All you have to do is bring a recipe to you that is meaningful. It could be something that was passed down from family, something related to Thanksgiving, or just something really good that you're proud to show off and share. Bring a printed copy with you to share, and don't worry if we forget, we will have ways to participate no matter what. But I'm kind of excited for that, especially just in time for Thanksgiving. I'm excited to try something new. All right, after our service, everyone is, as always, welcome to join us in the fellowship hall for coffee, snacks, and conversation. Now, I'm going to ring the singing bowl to help us enter into the service more deeply. So everyone take a calming breath and let the sound slowly cause your mind to drift away from all the cares and worries and focus on being here now. Finally, having gathered in a shared quest for truth, meaning, and purpose, Lord will light our chalice with these words, stolen from a guest lecture we had in the adult RE this morning, Bill Elliott from the Shambhala Meditation Group. When you really think about it, there's nothing wrong right now. There's plenty of things wrong in our world. There's plenty of things right in our world. There's plenty of things going on. But when you bring yourself to right now, your body, this space, you have everything you need to thrive. And now, to help you center yourself and quiet your mind, we will have our music for centering, followed by our thread song.
I think last time when I was here, Will was pulpit host and the mic became a bit. So we'll see if that happens again, the up, down at the microphone. Good morning, y'all. My name is Rachel Rogers. My pronouns are they, them, or she, hers, and it is my joy to be back with you here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville, Alabama. For those of you I haven't met yet, I come to you from Nashville, Tennessee, where I'm a member of First Unitarian Universalist Church of Nashville. I'm also a seminarian at Meadville Lombard Theological School and an aspirant to Unitarian Universalist ministry. Yay! I love it. All right. I offer you this call to worship. Come in as you are. We bring our full selves into this room, the grateful parts and the tired ones, the steady places and the places that feel frayed. Come in with whatever you carry today. the belief that life is good, the fear that it is too much, the longing for a moment of rest. Here, we practice remembering that we belong to each other, that the breath in our lungs is a gift, that even in a world of deep need, there are small mercies worth noticing. Let this hour be a pause in the rush, a place to listen for what is true and to touch that quiet assurance that enough is not something we earn, but something we meet in each other. Let us worship together. I'll ask you now to rise in body or in spirit as you are so moved to sing our opening hymn, which is printed in your order of service and comes from our new digital hymnal, Sing Out Love. And I've forgotten the name of it. Somebody help me out.
We have enough.
We have enough.
In those long nights when we can't sleep and no worries whisper in our ear, we need a voice that will remind us that we are always greater than our fear. We have enough time. We have enough courage. We have enough wisdom. We have enough love. We have enough time. We have enough courage. We have enough wisdom. We have enough love. In those hard days when the light dims and it seems like all we do will fail, we need a sign that can sustain us, and help will see that hope will never fail. We have enough time. We have enough courage. We have enough wisdom. We have enough love. We have enough time. We have enough courage. We have enough wisdom. We have enough love. In our torn lives, there are moments when we feel uncertainty within, and we must sing to tell each other we're not alone, nor never have we been. We have enough time. We have enough courage. We have enough wisdom. We have enough love. We have enough time. We have enough courage. We have enough wisdom. We have enough love.
After our first hymn, it's our tradition to sing our doxology, which is found on the laminated blue card in the pew in front of you. After the doxology, we turn towards the middle of the aisle, toward one another, and speak aloud our words of aspiration, a covenant we hold with one another that sanctifies what we try to do here. Let us sing our doxology.
Let beauty, truth, and good be
the spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. Now, we invite anyone who is young or young at heart to come on down to the front. And Lindsay Lamety is going to do our story for all ages this morning.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes? Okay. Today, our book is called The Berenstain Bears Count Their Blessings. This is Ruthie. I'll try to read it, and then I'll turn it to let you look at the pictures, okay? Mama, said Sister Bear one day after school, may I go over to Lizzie's house to play this afternoon? Yes, you may, said Mama Bear. Be sure not to leave a mess for Lizzie's mom, and be sure to be home in time for supper. As Mama watched Sister skipping happily over the hill to Lizzie's house, she sighed. She knew exactly what was going to happen when Sister got home. And it wasn't just when she got home from Lizzie's. It was the same thing when she got home from Anna's or Queenie's. Anna's got her own phone in her room, Sister would complain. Or Queenie's got her own phone and her own TV in her room. But Lizzie's was the worst. That was because Lizzie had the biggest collection of Barbie dolls ever. But you have a Barbie doll, Mama would say, and your Barbie has lovely clothes. But Lizzie has lots of Barbies, complained Sister. She's got high fashion Barbie and super sport Barbie, tropical Barbie, motorcycle Barbie, and just married Barbie. And just married Barbie has a whole trousseau. Then Mama usually said, please, Sister, I've heard quite enough about Lizzie's Barbie collection. It wasn't much better with Brother Bear, but it wasn't Barbie dolls with Brother. It was video games for his Game Bear player. When Brother came home from Cousin Freddie's house, it was, you ought to see how many video games Freddie has. He's got Space Avenger, Rocket Rangers, Killer Coyote, and on and on and on. Mama looked around. Where was Brother? She asked Papa Bear when he came in from his shop for a tea break. Brother asked if he could go over to Cousin Fred's, he said. I told him, sure, he'll be back in time for supper. There was a distant rumble of thunder. He added, there must be a storm coming. Oh, I forgot to show you that. Rookie. Mistake. That's right, thought Mama. With Sister at Lizzie's and Brother at Fred's, there was bound to be a storm coming. A storm of complaints about how many Barbies Lizzie had and how many video games Fred had. Mama got upset just thinking about it. But as the thunder got louder and the storm came closer, she began to worry. She was about to call to have the cubs sent home when she heard them coming up the front steps. They came in the door just ahead of the rain. It didn't take long for the complaining to start. Lizzie just got equestrian Barbie, said Sister. It's brand new. It comes with riding clothes and a beautiful horse. You think that's something, cried Brother. Cousin Fred's got 3 new video games. 3! Now look, you two, said Mama, I've heard quite enough about what you don't have. It would be very nice if you would start appreciating the things you do have. It's called counting your blessings. You got the whole time I'm reading it to be looking at the pictures. Like what? Asked Sister. Yes, said Brother, like what? Just then, there was a big streak of lightning, followed by a big clap of thunder, and the rain started coming down very hard. Good job. The cubs weren't exactly afraid of lightning and thunder, but this looked as if it was going to be a really big storm, and they were a little nervous. Well, said Mama, like this warm, cozy house that protects us against the weather. That's one blessing. Now it was really pouring. The wind was whipping the curtains and blowing rain into the house. Mama and Papa rushed about, closing windows. There was another lightning flash and thunder clap. Mm-hmm. You want to do a thunderclap? Good job. And we have each other, said Mama, bringing the cubs close. That's another blessing. That's when the biggest lightning flash yet lit up the sky, and it was followed by a clap of thunder that shook the very air. Kaboom! Good job. Yipe! Cried Sister, jumping into Mama's arms. Help! Cried Brother, jumping into Papa's arms. And you've got a Mama and a Papa who love you, said Mama, and the lights started to flicker. And you have a Papa who knows how to make a fire in the fireplace, said Papa. Soon he had a cheery fire roaring. And a Mama who knows how to make cocoa over it, said Mama. She hung a cookpot over the fire. Soon they were sitting in the glow of the fire, sipping hot, sweet cocoa. What a blessing that was. The storm kept getting worse. The lightning flashed brighter and brighter. The thunder crashed louder and louder. That flash seemed awful close, said Sister. Nothing. Good job. Nothing to worry about, said Papa. It was at least 5,000 feet away. How can you tell? Asked Brother. Easy, said Papa. You see, sound travels a lot slower than light. So when you see the flash, start counting seconds. 1, 2, 3, until you hear the thunder. Then you just figure about 1,000 feet for each second. Then there was a flash. The cubs started counting. 1, 2, 3. On 4, there was a big thunderclap. That flash was about 4,000 feet away, said Sister. Very good, said Papa. Yes, you got it. Outside, the storm raged on, but inside their sturdy treehouse, the Bear family was cozy and warm. As the storm grew worse, they sipped cocoa and counted the thunder. The counting helped. Papa explained what lightning and thunder were. Lightning was a big electrical flash that traveled between storm clouds and burned up the air. Thunder was the sound of air rushing in the burnt space. That helped too. Gradually, the storm eased. The rain slowed and stopped, and the lights came back on. The Bear family sighed a big sigh of relief. Then Sister started counting again. Why are you counting, dear? Asked Mama. The storm is over. I'm doing what you said, Mama, she said. I'm counting my blessings. So while Papa set the table and Mama started supper, with her Sister went upstairs to play with her Barbie doll, and Brother tried to reach the next level on one of his video games. You know,
I want to see the Barbie doll.
It doesn't show it yet. You know, my dear, said Papa, there are birthdays and Christmas coming. Do you have any ideas for the cubs? I thought perhaps a just married Barbie doll and a couple of video games for Brother might be nice, Mama said. What do you think? I think we should count our blessings too, said Papa. That's the end. It was kind of long, huh?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It was the best.
The best.
It was like 1 hour. 1 hour. 2 hours.
Do you have any blessings that you can count today? No? Okay, well, it's a long day. Let's sing them out.
We are the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville, a proudly inclusive spiritual community. Together, we build a broader search for meaning, a bolder form of compassion, and a braver voice for justice. At this time, we take a moment to invite ourselves to support our mission with a monetary contribution. You can donate, as always, using the online method with the QR code in the order of service, or you can put cash in the offering basket as it comes by. And I think I've introduced this before, but a practice I've started doing on Sunday mornings that I found particularly meaningful, because we give not only of our treasure, but our time and our talents. I offer to you, as the basket goes by, even if you don't literally place something in it, what's one thing you can do this week? What's one treasure you can offer up to help make our world a better place? And make that your offering today. In addition to sharing our time, talents, and treasure, we also share our joys and sorrows during this time. You can complete any circle of candles cards that you'd like to put in the offering basket as it goes by, or if you have something that's maybe a little too tender to share publicly this morning, I invite you to come forward and place a stone symbolizing that burden in the pail of water. With gratitude, we now receive your offering.
Please join me in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of life and love, we gather with gratitude for this moment and for the simple truth that we are here together. We honor the breath that moves through us and the connections that make our lives possible. We come with a spirit of welcome. We welcome one another into this space, and we welcome all that arrives with us. The joy that steadies us, the worry that sits close, the celebrations we can name, and the tender places we keep quiet. In a world that often demands more than we can give, here we remember what is already holding us. Here we practice noticing what is enough to sustain us, a kind word, a shared silence, the presence of a community that cares. We acknowledge the fullness of our days. Joy and sorrow are always neighbors. Hope and grief often walk together. May we meet each experience with honesty and meet each other with compassion. And now we share the joys and the prayers of our community. Jessica and Rhiannon want to wish Saoirse happy 7th birthday this week. She went to Disney but still wanted to celebrate with our church friends and brought cake for everyone. Bridget Demore has a joy. It is such a pleasure to enjoy the spectacular music of our very own Huntsville Symphony Orchestra. They were in amazing form for their most recent concert. Joy, joy, joy. The DeLacy's share a joy. Happy 23rd birthday to our oldest kid, Anna DeLacy. LaDawn Edwards for the Care Committee brings gratitude. Rose Diversley, this is my 3rd month of working with my doctors to avoid risky surgery. I would like to express gratitude for the UUCH Care Committee and others who have offered their support should I need surgery. I remain optimistic that a medication I have just started will work. Linda Lamidi, mixed feelings of joy and sorrow. My sister Katie, who's 90 years old, will have surgery this coming week to remove a section of her aortic artery. The good news is that the blockage was identified and there is a surgical solution. The bad news is her condition that requires the surgery. This surgery is scheduled for Thursday, November 20th. Let us be moved to compassion by all that has been spoken and for all that stays unspoken within us. And let us say, blessed be, and amen. Now please join in singing our responsive music, number 1009 in the Teal hymnal, Meditation on Breathing.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
Our reading this morning is from a book that's very dear to me. It's called Consolations by the Welsh poet David White. And this very short essay from that book is called Gratitude. Gratitude is not a passive response to something we have been given. Gratitude arises from paying attention, from being awake in the presence of everything that lives within and without us. Gratitude is not necessarily something that is shown after the event. It is the deep, a priori state of attention that shows we understand and are equal to the gifted nature of life. Gratitude is the understanding that many millions of things come together and live together and mesh together and breathe together in order for us to take even one more breath of air. That the underlying gift of life and incarnation as a living, participating human being is a privilege. That we are miraculously part of something rather than nothing. Even if that something is temporarily pain or despair, we inhabit a living world with real faces, real voices, laughter, the color blue, the green of the fields, the freshness of a cold wind, or the tawny hue of a winter landscape. To see the full miraculous essentiality of the color blue is to be grateful with no necessity for a word of thanks. To see fully the beauty of a daughter's face is to be fully grateful without having to seek a God to thank him. to sit among friends and strangers, hearing many voices, strange opinions, to intuit inner lives beneath surface lives, to inhabit many worlds at once in this world, to be a someone amongst all other someones, and therefore to make a conversation without saying a word, is to deepen our sense of presence and therefore our natural sense of thankfulness, that everything happens both with us and without us, that we are participants and witnesses all at once. Thankfulness finds its full measure in generosity of presence, both through participation and witness. We sit at the table as part of every other person's world while making our own world without will or effort. This is what is extraordinary and gifted. This is the essence of gratefulness, seeing to the heart of privilege. Thanksgiving happens when our sense of presence meets all other presences. Being unappreciative might mean we are simply not paying attention. So ends our reading. So there is a moment, most mornings, when the house is still quiet. The light hasn't fully come in yet. The only sounds are the hum of the heat or the air conditioning blowing and the scratch of my pen, and the dog is curled up tightly next to me on the couch. The day hasn't quite begun to make its demands. I'm usually up early to study or to read or to write, that whole seminary thing that's been mentioned a couple of times. So I always have a lot in front of me, a lot I need to do in that morning quiet. But oftentimes I sit there a lot longer than I mean to before I get started, and that's not because I'm meditating. It's not because I'm disciplined about quiet, but because it takes a while for my mind to settle. For the first few minutes, I'm already thinking through the day ahead, the meeting, the lunches to pack, the things undone. But if I wait long enough, if I breathe long enough, something shifts. The lists fade, and what's left isn't accomplishment or control, but presence. Sometimes in those moments, I catch a glimpse of what I can only call enough. It doesn't arrive because everything's in order. It arrives in spite of the mess, the toys that are inexplicably all over the coffee table, just the clutter of an ordinary morning, the sense that the world is getting ready to rush by without me. Sometimes, even there, something in me whispers, this moment belongs to you, and this is sufficient. Why does it feel so rare, that sense that nothing more is needed? And why do we lose it so quickly? As soon as the world wakes up, it begins whispering or shouting that we need more. More success, more followers, more square footage, more self-improvement, even more spirituality sometimes. And we can feel it, the tug of it, the way it sinks its hooks into our days. Even our small talk rehearsed as scarcity. How are you? Busy, tired, behind. We bond over exhaustion. We call it being realistic. But maybe it's something else, a kind of cultural prayer we keep repeating without meaning to, this prayer of not enough. Our world depends on that prayer. It depends on us feeling slightly behind, slightly lacking. We live surrounded by the promise that satisfaction can be bought if we just work harder, spend more, optimize, achieve. Even in the most personal parts of our lives, it creeps in. We compare our families, our homes, our bodies. We imagine there's a better version of us just around the corner, a better, calmer, more fulfilled version, if we could just get there. But the finish line keeps moving. The appetite for more is never fed. The theologian Walter Brueggemann once called this the myth of scarcity, the story that who we are and what we have will never be enough. And I believe when he said this, he was right, that it's not just an economic problem, it's a spiritual one. Because when we live in that story, we forget the truth of sufficiency. We forget that joy and meaning are available here, not someday when conditions improve. And yet, every once in a while, something cracks through. A pause, a breath, a glimpse of the world as it is, whole, ordinary, already humming with life. And maybe that's what I'm feeling in the stillness of the morning. And when we begin to notice those moments, when the day eases, the heart unclenches, something in us wants to protect them, to honor them. That impulse is the beginning of gratitude. It's how we remember that sufficiency is not just for ourselves. It's a recognition of our connection to the larger web that makes our lives possible. Gratitude then becomes less about feeling thankful and more about what David White names so clearly in our reading, an awakening to the fact that we are here at all. He writes that gratitude is what rises in us when we let ourselves fully touch the reality of our days with all their complexity and contradiction. It is the quiet recognition that even in a world of fracture and longing, there are moments that ask us to stop and see what has already been given. Gratitude, in this sense, is not a mood, but a way of living with our eyes open. It invites us to participate in the world as it is and to tend the relationships that make life possible. When we give thanks for what sustains us, for the land, for each other, for breath itself, we are reminded of our belonging. We remember that we are not isolated consumers in a market of scarcity. We are participants in a living web of interdependence. And in that web, enough is not a fixed quantity. Enough is a relationship. Enough grows when it is shared. And at the center of that web is love. Not sentimental love, but the steady, pulsing love that holds all things together. Love that reminds us that enoughness is not about what we possess, but about how we are connected. Love that calls us back again and again to relationship, to gratitude as participation in something larger than ourselves. And that is the paradox of abundance. It's revealed not by accumulation, but by participation. In the book of Exodus, the ancient Israelites are told a story about manna, or live a story about manna, the bread that fell from the sky while they wandered in the desert. Each day they were told to gather only what they needed. If they tried to hoard extra, it spoiled overnight. What if that story is not about divine punishment, as I always read it, but about trust? Trust that what we need will be there when the next day comes. Every tradition has its version of this teaching. The Sabbath, a day of rest, is built on the same idea. For one day each week, you stop striving. You do not produce, you do not accumulate, you do not chase the myth of more. You remember that you are enough and that life goes on even when you pause. Sabbath in this sense is not just a day, it's a spiritual posture, a weekly rehearsal of sufficiency. When we rest, we are saying with our bodies and our time, the world will not fall apart if I stop. Life continues even when I am still. I am enough, and this is enough. Of course, this practice isn't easy. We are conditioned from birth to strive, to compete, to prove. The hunger for more can feel like the need for oxygen. And everywhere around us, there are real circumstances of not enoughness, of food insecurity, of injustice and deprivation. The practice of enough is never about romanticizing scarcity. It's about confronting the systems that create and perpetuate it. Systems that convince us there's not enough when in truth there is abundance enough for all. Because let's be clear, not everyone has what they need. There are families in our own communities choosing between groceries and medication. There are parents choosing between diapers and formula. Parents are skipping meals so their children can eat. People are cutting pills in half to make them last. We have all just experienced people's food resources being treated as bargaining chips, as SNAP benefits were held back. And we are all seeing the continuance of health care being stolen, made harder to access, and treated as a privilege instead of a right. These are not accidents. They are choices, policy choices that undermine the natural abundance of this world and the interdependence that we were born to trust. The practice of enough does not mean closing our eyes to that pain. It means opening them wider, seeing how systems of profit and fear have convinced us that someone else's lack is inevitable. It means remembering that the same love that holds us also calls us to hold one another. If we believe in the sufficiency of creation, if we believe that life itself offers enough to sustain us all, then we are called to make that truth real, to reverse the forces that deny it, to serve each other so that enough isn't a privilege, but a promise. Because the myth of scarcity doesn't only wound our spirits, it starves our neighbors. And our gratitude, if it's real, will always draw us towards repair. Practicing enough asks something of us that is deeply countercultural. It asks us to stop feeding the very systems that depend on our dissatisfaction. Brueggemann also talked about the Pharaoh story, the story that demands endless labor to feed a never-satisfied empire. And if that is the story we are in, then the practice of enough is our type of exodus. It's choosing to step out of that economy of fear and endless consumption and to live as though we are already free. But leaving Egypt is never easy. The wilderness is terrifying. When we stop measuring ourselves by accumulation or production, what's left to define our worth? And maybe that's the question at the heart of all of this. If we are not what we produce or what we consume, then who are we? Our world is built on this anxiety. Whole industries depend on us feeling like we're behind, inadequate, or in need of fixing. We are taught to measure success by growth in profits even when the planet burns, growth in productivity even when our bodies break, growth in possessions even when our neighbors go hungry. But every sacred tradition I know insists otherwise. In Buddhist teaching, craving is the root of suffering. As I've mentioned in the Bible, we hear that hoarding leads to the spoiling of manna. In indigenous wisdom, taking more than you need disrupts the cycle of reciprocity. Love, after all, is what abundance feels like when it takes human form. It's what teaches us that sharing is not loss, but multiplication. Love is the one economy that grows by being spent. Every act of enoughness is a small act of love, a refusal to hoard, a willingness to trust, a choice to release. When we cook enough for a neighbor, when we give away a coat we could have kept, when we rest even though the work is unfinished. These are the gestures through which love becomes visible. The myth of scarcity would have us believe love is limited, that care must be earned, that worth must be proven, but love keeps proving otherwise. Love keeps feeding us when we think the table is empty. And here's where it turns. Because if we truly believed that there was enough love, enough care, enough beauty, enough bread, we would act differently. We would live differently. We would give differently. We would refuse to let a world of plenty tell us there isn't enough for everyone. Because the truth, the one empire can't sell and fear can't erase, is that love is what always has been at the center. Love is what abundance really means. Love is what the myth of scarcity tries to distract us from. Love is what keeps creating, keeps multiplying, keeps calling us back to one another. The practice of love, it turns out, is really the practice of love. The kind of love that trusts there will be enough to share. The kind of love that knows every person is worthy of enough. The kind of love that says again and again, this world could be enough if we remembered how to care for it and for each other. Gratitude isn't naive optimism, it's realism of the deepest kind. It sees the world as it truly is, imperfect, unjust, beautiful, sacred, and still says, thank you for what sustains us through it all. When we practice gratitude for enough, we become steadier. We stop measuring our worth by the measure of the markets. We remember that we belong to this earth, to one another, to something larger than our own striving. And from that remembering, generosity begins to flow. So maybe this week we can try a simple practice. When you notice the urge for more stuff, more validation, more control, take a breath, look around, ask, what is already here that is enough? And then give thanks for that. Let that small act be your prayer. Let it be your rebellion. Let it be your peace. May we remember that enough is not a possession, but a practice. May we hold one another through the times when there is more than enough and the times when there is not. May our gratitude move our hands as well as our hearts to share, to serve, to repair. And may the love that breathes through all things remind us that our lives are woven together and that your enough and my enough are bound up in one another. May it be so. And now I'll ask you to please rise in body or in spirit as you are so moved to sing our closing hymn, Gather the Spirit. Which is number 347 in your gray hymnal.
Harvest the prayer.
let us now take a moment to extinguish our chalice with these words borrowed from Pema Chodron. Help us remember that we are all the sky. Everything else, that's just the weather.
Friends, our worship service now comes to a close. At the end of the service, I'll be at the back of the sanctuary if anyone wants to say hello, no pressure. And you are invited to go to the fellowship hall for fellowship and conversation. For those on our live stream, thank you so much for being with us. I offer to you these words of benediction. Go into the week with tenderness for your own limits and a wide compassion for the limits of others. May you notice what sustains you even in difficult days. May your gratitude lead you to generosity and your grief strengthen your commitment to repair. May you remember that you do not walk alone and that your life is held in a larger belonging where every person deserves enough and every act of care helps make that real. Go in peace, go in courage, go in love. Amen, blessed be, and let us go out singing our rite of community 1039. Be now with us.